Ryan Garcia gets the victory over Javier Fortuna. Where does that put him at 135, 140, whatever division he's fighting in? In this video, we discuss that fight, and I'm also going to provide a small, mini, kind of premature breakdown of a potential bout between Gervonta Tank Davis and Ryan Garcia. This is your boy JG. This is the Punch Report. We're getting right into the comment. That's the second time. We're getting right into the content. Before we move on, guys, do me a favor if you could be so kind. Like, subscribe, bell icon for notification. Channel's been growing like crazy. Support's been crazy. You guys have been doing a hell of a job with the comments. I try to get to those as best I can, but we got to keep it rolling. Now, let's get into it. Javier Fortuna showed up, fought Ryan Garcia, and there's been a lot of conversations about, oh, did he take a dive? Whatever. I would say this. Javier Fortuna, and they mentioned this on the telecast, like in the first round, there were questions about the shape that he was in. Was he in shape? Did he take it serious? What kind of camp did he have? Those kind of questions. When I see questions or speculations like that, Ryan Garcia is supposed to go out there and do what he did. He's supposed to blow a guy away. Not because he's so good or special, not saying that he's not. But if you're going in there against opposition who hasn't done the right things, who hasn't prepared, you're supposed to destroy them. And the reason why, if you're a Ryan Garcia fan, you should be encouraged because you look at the Emmanuel Togo fight, whatever his damn name is. If you look at his previous bout, that fight went the distance against a guy that no one knew, and a fight where Ryan Garcia really didn't look at his best. Interesting thing about that bout, too, is that was scheduled for 135. They made a late revision to the contract language that would state that, all right, we're going to do this at, the higher weight. I think anywhere between 137, 138, and 40. This fight was straight scheduled at 140. It's since been mentioned that Ryan Garcia doesn't believe that he can make 135 pounds anymore, which is going to be significant for a later portion of this video as we start to break down a fight between Gervonta Tank Davis and Ryan Garcia. But moving back to the Saturday night bout, you're supposed to do that to a guy that hasn't prepared. That's a positive note for Ryan Garcia. Now, Saturday happened. He did his thing. Let's move on to the potential fight between Ryan Garcia and Gervonta Tank Davis. I'm going to say right now, first and foremost, I don't know. Okay, let me just stop right there. I don't want to see the fight at 140. And if you're a Ryan Garcia or Golden Boy promoter Oscar De La Hoya and you're suggesting that fight needs to take place at 40, you don't have the grounds and the legs to make that proposition or offer or whatever the case may be. You don't. If they want to make the fight, they'll make the fight, but you're not in an A-side position. Ryan Garcia has fought tank leftovers, guys nobody knows. He's pulled out of fights. He's wildly inconsistent. If you want to talk about Javier Fortuna, he came off the Jojo Diaz loss, fought a guy that nobody knows. I don't even know his name, got a knockout victory in a 10-rounder, then comes in overweight, out of shape to fight Ryan Garcia, and now you start making demands. Not sure that's the best course of action. Not sure that's something I would advocate if I'm on the side of a Golden Boy or Ryan Garcia, but I know they're feeling themselves. Oh, we got the hot ticket, Ryan Garcia. I don't think it's as sweet as you think that it is. But I want to get into what might take place in the square circle. I think this fight boils down to probably 4 things. We'll discuss 2 of those things in this video. The first thing is this. What is something that gets Gervonta Tank Davis in trouble? It's really only one thing. And the reason why I'm going to use the clips from these 2 fights, Tank Davis, Mario Barrios, and then the fight we just watched with Javier Fortuna and Ryan Garcia is because there's similarities in the disposition of the combatants, those 4 combatants in those 2 fights. You have a taller opponent in Garcia and Barrios, smaller, some may even consider undersized opponents in Gervonta Tank Davis and Javier Fortuna. But before I go any further, make no mistake, Mario Barrios at 27 years of age and undefeated when he fought Gervonta Tank Davis is a far superior fighter at 140 pounds, a 140-pounder, than a Javier Fortuna at 33 years of age, a lot of mileage, coming off of a loss and a weird victory, and people have questions about his commitment to this point up and going into this fight. So that's my disclaimer. I know that Mario Barrios, even in a loss to Keith Thurman, is a far superior fighter right now in this day and age than a Javier Fortuna, and I do rate the victory that Gervonta Tank Davis scored over Mario Barrios much higher than a victory given to Ryan Garcia stopping Javier Fortuna, who looked fine and capable by my observation, but he wasn't interested in being there anymore. That's what I would say. Would I say to dive? No. Would I say it was fixed? No. But what I would say is after he started catching a couple of shots, clean shots, he's like, I'm cool. The check gonna cash the same whether I go the distance or get my ass out of here in the 5th or 6th round. The check gonna cash the same. So shout out to Javier Fortuna. You know, he probably got a cool little bag for showing up, being a punching bag, straight up opponent. The thing about it is that's confusing to me before we get into the breakdown. If you're a guy like Javier Fortuna, you only have one loss at that point. I believe, against Jojo Diaz. Then you get the knockout in the 10-rounder, and then you just come in here and shit the bed. I don't know. Maybe Ryan Garcia really just had that heat and he couldn't overcome it, but I'm calling BS on that. Anyway, I digress. Going back to the breakdown, what is a problem spot for a fighter like Gervonta Tank Davis? It's one of the things that makes him great. And as we go to the videos here, you'll be able to make a clear observation, the thing that I've observed. When Gervonta Tank Davis gets into trouble, he's doing one thing. He has extraordinary target acquisition skills and abilities. So he watches a lot of what's happening in front of him. He has fantastic reflexes, and oftentimes can avoid the work. But as he's still early rounds, 1st through 4th, as he's still acquiring the target, figuring out what the patterns are, he spends a lot of time watching. This is where straight shots, whether it's a jab, or a right hand right off the shoulder, Mario Barrios hits him with that shot several times in their bout. These shots will land clean and they'll land flush. And oftentimes I couldn't find the clip, but take a look at the clips here. There's a clip where Mario Barrios hits Tank with a jab, and Tank is so focused on acquiring the target, he gets hit with the jab in the face. Yep. And he doesn't even blink or flinch. He just gets hit. The jab comes back home to Barrios' shoulder, and Tank is just laser focused, still learning, still acquiring information, still figuring out what his plan of attack is going to be. Now, against a fighter like a Ryan Garcia, who has tremendous speed, I think he has above average power, that could be problematic. I don't care what you guys think about Ryan Garcia, because I know he gets a lot of hate, and some of it might be rightfully so. But you don't want a guy with pop and good size just punch you in the face while you try to find the target. Now, the fantastic thing about Gervonta Tank Davis is he can really do it all. He has tremendous defensive versatility. He can mount his offense on his own. He can counterpunch, slip shots. We know he has power. He doesn't use it a lot, but he actually does have a fantastic jab. He has shown angles, shoulder roll defense. He really has a nice full library of boxing technique, skills, and abilities that he can deploy against any style of fighter. But he likes to land damage, and he's a really good counterpuncher, so he relies on some of those things. He just has to be careful not to stand and watch the shots come home, because you might get clipped with something. And I'm not saying that he can't get off the deck if that's what's necessary and come back, but if you don't have to, then why? If you switch over now, we take a look at Ryan Garcia. The number one thing for me, now I'm going to do an additional breakdown if this fight gets made, but I wanted to touch on just these two things. So for Tank Davis, spends a lot of time watching, it can get you in trouble. Switching over to Ryan Garcia. One of the things that I think will spell disaster for him right now against a fighter like Gervonta Tank Davis. Now, if he watches this video, shout out to him and Joe Goosen can go and work on it, because I'm not wrong. He lacks defensive variety. He just hop, step forward, high guard, deploy offense. Rinse, repeat, rinse, repeat. You're going to see the high guard, hop, step forward, a little bit of passive pressure, and then deploy offense. One of the things that gets him in trouble is when you pressure Ryan Garcia, he's going to do one thing. Go straight back and then try to frame you and then get shots off. The issue with that is I think he lacks a really firm understanding of the purpose of the frame. See Canelo Alvarez, he's pretty good at it when he uses it. And so he gets caught with his chin in the air and his hands extended out, and you can come over the top and catch him with something. The explosiveness of a fighter like a Gervonta Tank Davis, he can lose every round, I don't care. As soon as you get caught slipping, he puts a little pressure, maybe a feint to the body, throws a left hand to the body, a jab to the body or something like that. And then he changes level, he comes upstairs, and he lands that left hook. It's going to be skates, i.e. Mario Barrios. And just for a disclaimer, some of these clips are going to be much, much shorter than I normally utilize. CBS Sports, they don't play the game. Showtime, they don't play. They'll come for you to take the video down. But in this video, I just wanted to give that brief breakdown and give my thoughts about two of the most important things. Now, I'll preview the other two things right now, but I'll do another video providing an additional breakdown. So for Ryan Garcia, he only has a fastball, right? So for my football cats, there was a quarterback named Paxton Lynch. He played for the Denver Broncos, drafted out of Nevada. This dude had a crazy arm, but that's all he had. He could only throw a bullet 1,000 miles an hour. He was ineffective because it was easy to get a read on him or he's breaking people's hands. Well, Ryan Garcia is the same thing. The jab is super fast, super hard. The right hand, super fast, super hard, even though it's developing. For a fighter with the intelligence, the fighting IQ of a Gervonta Tank Davis and his ability to counterpunch, the fight won't go beyond 6 or 7 rounds if you cannot vary your punch speed and delivery. You'll just get blasted up. For Gervonta Tank Davis, the second thing that he would need to be mindful of is you can't put yourself in a position where you have to get a knockout. You have to be more offensive sooner. This is something that he mentioned in the Rolando Romero fight, where he said, I need to do a better job warming up in the back, getting my sweat on, getting loose, feeling comfortable, feeling relaxed when I go into the squared circle. Because we know he can get it done late. He got it done late when he was rumored to be down against Barrios to stop him to the body. But in a hotly contested bout, with a lot on the line, it's going to be a crazy event. If it gets made, that's a crazy event. You don't want to be in a position where the judges are looking at you around 8, 9, and 10, and you got to make a comeback or you have to get a knockout. No slow starting against a fighter like Ryan Garcia. I think he's good enough to make the fight more interesting than it needs to be. You got to come out and be you right away, impose your will, put damage on him, and make him wilt. Ryan Garcia still has some things that he needs to work on. I'm going to save that for another video, but this has been my time. This is your boy JG. This is the Punch Report. Please like, subscribe, bell icon for notification. Drop your thoughts in the comment section. I want to send a special shout out to Brendan McDonald, shout out to Coach Joe. You guys keep me honest, keep me consistent, keep me accountable. Let's just keep working. This is your boy JG. We out.